Hey everybody, just wanted to share with you the first mods that I've done to my M240i. I know there's still a lot of unknowns out there in terms of things like wheels and tires, whether they fit, should you use spacers, so on and so forth. So what I did today or this last week is I changed the tires. So stock tires have 255. I have the high performance wheel and tire package. So the wheels are 8.5 in the front and 9.5 in the back. With 255s in the back, 255 35s in the back, and 245 35s in the front. But they look kind of stretched on, you know, they're low profile. I really don't like that look. I like a little more meat to the tire. Certainly when you take cars to the racetrack, you don't see stretched out tires so much as you do smaller diameter wheels with a little bit more sidewall, because you're just going to have more handling, more grip. And so I did my little homework and everything worked out. So what you see here is you see a 245/40 on the front versus a 245/35. So a little bit beefier sidewall. Those are Yokohama Advan Apexes, which are a little stickier to than the Michelin Pilot 4Ss. And the rear, I've gone to a 285/35. And the actual height of both wheels is identical. So, I mean, when I say identical, I mean they raise the height of the car identically in the front and to the rear as the stock wheels and tires did, which gives it the same stance, just elevated a little bit. Now, you're saying, well, the car doesn't look like it's elevated, and that's because it now resides on H&R lowering springs. So just to let you know that these wheels and tires with 285/35 19s on the back and 245/40 19s on the front with H&R lowering springs, which are among the most aggressive lowering springs on the market, fit. Now, here's a little issue. They fit, they drive fine. The front, I put on a 12mm spacer. Now, why did I put on a 12mm spacer? Because you'll see that the rear tire sits pretty flush with the wheel well, and now the front tire does too. So I wanted flush basically with the wheel wells. And the only way you're going to do that with a 245 on the front is to use a spacer. So the consequence is that when you turn the car lock to lock, which you never do driving in normal conditions unless you're making a slow speed maneuver in a parking lot or something like that, you're going to get a little bit of rub on the front when you do that. But normal driving conditions, over bumps, regular turns, there's no rubbing. So in the future, I'm going to do a little modification to the wheel well to add a little bit more clearance. But I think it's well worth it, because I think these wheels and tires look phenomenal on this car. You don't have to go to that stretched out look either. I think 20s are just too big for this size of car. And you'll see what I'm getting at when I move it to the back, right? Let's take a look at the back. See, look at those bad boys, right? Putting a bigger wheel on there just wouldn't look right. Right? So that's what it's got. Those are my first mods in terms of the suspension and wheels and tires. So just for you guys who are wondering what you can fit in there, there's a little bit of information out there, but there's not a lot. You can fit 285/35s on the back, no problem whatsoever, even lowered, and 245/40s on the front. You could do 255s, but there's going to be very little clearance. And I don't know if I would do that if I lowered the vehicle as well. So, you know, and here's the other thing. The 245/40s, like I said, with the 285/35s on the rear, actually make it so the ride height is, when it goes up, is identical front and back. So if you do a 255/40 on the front the front end's going to come up a little bit more than the back, and I didn't want that. So I wanted it, of course, when you put bigger tires on, the car's going to come up, but I wanted it to come up proportionally, same amount in the front and in the back, right? So that's what it looks like, and I think it looks awesome. Now, one other thing that I've done so far, I haven't touched the engine, but I have added tint. You guys can probably tell all the way around. So front windshield, passenger driver side windshield, and the quarter windows and back. Now, what is on here? I have the XPEL Prime XR carbon, not carbon, but ceramic tint. It's their top of the line in terms of heat rejection, infrared. What you have here on the back is a 15%, and also on the quarter windows here, 15%. So I thought Lemo was a bit too much. Look at 15% is pretty dark, right? And then the transition here is that's a 30% on the passenger and drivers, and then I have a 55 on the front, which the 55 even at nighttime is really good. I don't have any problem seeing. So you could do 70 if you like, but I went 55. Okay, but you can see a transition, especially in the sunlight, where you can see, well, I'm gonna get reflection here, but you can see in the cabin clearly. You can see the dash and stuff. We're on the back quarter and the rear windows, you can't really see, right? So I think that was enough in terms of, you know, for law enforcement, so they can see into the car, because they want to see in the car. So I didn't want to go too dark. So anyways, that's what I've done so far. So XPEL Prime XR ceramic tint, 15% on the rear window, quarter windows, passenger side and driver side, 30%, and front windshield, 55%. Right, and of course my car is going off because my key's in my pocket. It's randomly locking the door, moving the mirrors. So hope you guys like it, and stay tuned. There's going to be more to come. All right, take care. Bye-bye.